I've been trying to share myself more. I don't really know what my intention is, but it just seems like something I want to do. Maybe I'm ready to put myself out there and risk rejection, practice not trying to be perfect. I'm looking for connection, maybe wanting to be heard. I'm not sure who wants to hear me. Regardless, it's been something I've been exploring, and I am frustrated right now. I'm feeling a little anxious. There's a little bit of like tension slash butterflies. There's energy stuck in my chest area, and it's like a alert, like a kind of oh no sort of feeling. Not quite in a full spiral where my mind's racing and I'm out of control, but there's something there. And I'm frustrated at my inability to be more productive and to know how to use my energy, to be able to produce something or feel like I'm doing something that matters. I'm envious of people who feel valuable, who know what they're here to do and show up every day and do it. And this is something that I've been feeling for quite some time, way before this pandemic. I feel like I've kind of been living in these conditions, not as extreme, of course, but pretty similar on purpose for a while. And so it's not that much different, the challenges that I'm facing now. Of course, there's an element of the added experience of my surrounded community that I'm feeling. And there's no income coming in, whereas I was making at least some money. Wasn't much. There was pressure for me to show up to certain things and to be available a lot more than I am now, and I'm grateful for relieving that pressure. But what I'm getting at is that there's a lot of frustration and like self-hatred I'm feeling right now about not having like a fire driving me to act. And perhaps I have that and I just don't know how to use it and where to put it. And so it becomes anxiety. But I'm feeling like I'm on social media way too much. And I'm getting annoyed at people and what they're posting and their opinions and their righteousness and ignorance and insensitivity. And I'm getting confused by all the different perspectives and opinions, and wanting to understand people more, why they're saying what they're saying, and it's creating more uncertainty as far as where I stand in things. And that makes me angry as well. It's like, why don't I know more? Why don't I understand that? I know that I'm stepping into a new version of myself, and I'm working towards being more driven and motivated, more of what I'm wanting to be, and I just don't know how. And I'm sick of disappointing myself. Not pushing past the lethargy or the paralysis that inhibits me from doing things that I intend to do. And I get stuck in between honoring myself and being compassionate and kind and not being forceful, and staying stuck. And so that's a hard thing for me to try and balance, because I feel like I always need, not always, but I feel a lot, and there's always something that doesn't feel quite right. And I kind of obsess over that. It's like, oh, my stomach's kind of off. What can I do to make that feel better? Or I'm feeling a little tension in my chest. How can I relieve that? And so my actions are focused around trying to make myself feel better. And this has not happened recently, but in the past, more recent than not, when I didn't have something that was bothering me, I'd have all this energy that I'm wanting, and I didn't know what to do with it because I was so used to having to try and use it to fix something within myself and to recalibrate. So it's like this awareness of not wanting to be in that space of obsessing over what doesn't feel right, and accepting that even when things don't feel right, I don't know what to do with feeling good. And ultimately, I want to learn how to acknowledge that I'm not feeling great, but still show up and still do what I intended to do, and it doesn't have to be at my maximal capacity. I have a very wounded complex regarding my pharmacy degree and my knowledge in healthcare. I feel like I'm not good enough to be a pharmacist, even though I have all the qualifications. And I also don't feel like I know enough in the alternative world. So like, I've been studying alternative medicine, not one specific field of study, but just kind of exploring, and spent a lot of time and energy in that world. And I'm coming to terms with the fact that I should probably use my degree if I intend to be self-sufficient and step into the role of being a leader and get over my fear of not being good enough and wanting to help people and wanting to get paid to help people. And I'm stuck with the way my mind seems to process information and data. It doesn't align with the traditional medical model at all. Scientific studies and referring to the guidelines that are universally accepted by qualified institutions that are funded by, you get what I'm saying? It's like, I don't just take the data for what it is. My mind is always uncertain if I can trust the sources, and so over the recent years, I've been trying to decondition from needing to do that because it didn't feel right to try and go inward and what's right for me, what makes sense to me, what feels right. That's the only thing I can truly rely on and trust. And that doesn't work in traditional pharmacy. It's irresponsible. Someone on Instagram had posted about people using their titles to share personal beliefs that don't have evidence, and it's harmful when people are reliant on you or looking up to you for guidance. And I agree with that, but I also agree with the fact that if your intention is in the right place and you're doing your best to help them and you're taking responsibility for what it is that you're sharing and you're aware of risks and educating and you're not you're not letting your ego be blinding the circumstance because you have an agenda to push, that you don't have to go off of like there's this amount of studies on this thing and there's no studies on this thing, but maybe this other thing just doesn't have funding for it, and it's what's best for the patient. It's what's going to work for the patient. So that was something that tripped me up today. And hearing, it's starting to hit me where I guess a lot of people are, is like, I have no idea what I'm going to do to make money right now and what I should be focusing on to prepare me to make money. I've spread out my energy in a lot of different directions, and that's who I am. In human design, I'm a reflector, and I'm a 1-3 profile, so I learn by making mistakes, trying things out, tasting, getting a taste for what it is, experiencing it, processing it, digesting it, and then deciding if it's right or wrong. But it's likely for me to do that for a long time, to change a lot, to keep coming up with it not being the right thing. And I don't know if me knowing that makes me feel defeated, whereas it's not intended to. I should show up completely in each scenario and dive in fully and enjoy the ride. But there's resistance, and there's this, like, I wish I was different, I wish I was different, I wish things were different. And that's the whole task, I think, for most people, to try and get out of that mind, to be happy with where you are now, not always planning and preparing, trying to force outcomes for you to feel like you'll attain happiness, but to just be happy now. Still do things, create goals and show up for them, and believe in yourself and prove to yourself that you're capable, and you owe it to yourself to make things happen for you, but not needing it to be that way. I feel like I just want to start over, just move somewhere. I really wish I had a mentor to learn from that I could trust, and that stood for the things that I stand for and would allow me to develop my own unique path while learning from them, so that I don't have to completely mimic them, but I could learn from them in a way that supports me and equally supports them. That would be ideal. And I kind of want to move for it. Like, I want to be in a new territory and have nothing familiar, but I have an anchor and a purpose that I'm studying with this person that I trust. Something that I care about. I'm working towards something that matters to me, and I'm supported in the way that I need more than anything, is to be free, to be me, and to be trusted that I know what's best for me, and that I matter, that the time I spend devoted to learning what calls to me and what my intuition is leading me to is valuable, and it matters, because I trust my insight and I trust my judgment as far as healthcare goes and what's right and what's wrong. I think that is my gift. But I don't have evidence or proof beyond my intuition. And that's not fair for others when it involves others. For me, that's beautiful and that's a gift. And so when I come up with this feeling of conflict, I often wonder if I'm trying to force myself into a scientific world when I'm not meant for that world. I'm meant for relationships, relational, more embodied practices. The things that only intuition can guide you to and through. Things that don't have to be qualified and quantified to be valuable to someone else, but where you feel trust for someone, you feel seen and heard. The things that matter in those worlds are the things that I'm good at. I'm not sure what those worlds are yet. Like recreation, is it just for fun? Because that's not me either. There's purpose. Like, it's about health still. It's always about that for me. But just the things that I know matter in terms of health aren't always science. It's emotional support and relationship and community and dealing with being human, having support and navigating that, and unconditional love, having someone that really cares about you and really wants you to do well, and knowing that, being able to trust someone to work out your problems with, lean on, but not rely on. I know I'm never gonna know exactly what's right for me, but I am putting it out there, asking for guidance, for more nudges from the universe, from divine life energy, to try and show me where to go next. Give me a little bit more consistency in my focus and my attention. Some insight, some promise, some support. I need help. I need to either find a program or a mentor or a teacher or a job or a friend that gives me safety, security, and structure. So I'm calling in some more information, some more clues, some more direction.